that our parents are getting older, but they're still out there. They're going to Walmart. My mom's, thinking of Walmart. I go to Walmart. I've been to Walmart in 3 days. It's like, yeah, and she doesn't. She just walks through, and everybody's like, "Hey, Gladys," and it's really fun. But we know that we start seeing differences. We see different things. There's also an aspect of denial that can come, and that's mom. My mom can lead, buildings in a single round, but the reality is that they are, sometimes it gets to the point where they do need help. So if you see things like changing of eating habits, neglecting personal hygiene, wearing the same clothes over and over again, the house that used to be immaculate is not so immaculate anymore. Inappropriate behavior. That was a shock to me. Like, my mom would say some things, I'm like, what are you doing? There's like this Catholic lady that never said anything, and next thing you know, she's saying all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, you're embarrassing me, stop. And, changing, they stop going to church. They stop socializing. And if they miraculously show up with like burns or bruises or things like that, they may be falling and not telling you because they don't plan on telling you ever. So things like being forgetful, asking the same questions over and over, mishandling finances is huge because sometimes we don't find out until it's too late that they've given away $15,000 to some random person. I actually have a story where a woman had somebody knock on the door and say, "Hey, I fixed the roof. You owe me $8,000." And she's like, "Okay, but I don't have the money here." He said, "No problem. I'll take you to the bank." Well, she got in this stranger's car, got to the bank, and asked for this money, but she went to a smaller bank that knew everybody. I said, "This isn't right," and so they called the lady's daughter. And when the guy noticed that they were making phone calls, he booked it, left the lady in the bank, and everything was okay. And that's where we came in to be with her more. But imagine if this was like a bank where they were like, "Yeah, just give them the money," or whatever. It could have been horrible. So, things like that are things that you have to really look out for. If you notice changes, you have to talk to your parents about it. Now, that's not easy. I know. I used to tell my dad, something's going on. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with you. So, a lot of times they're not self-aware that they're having deficiencies. Sometimes they are aware, but they're embarrassed. We have to include them in the conversation. We can't talk behind their back. I get a lot of calls where they're like, "Well, we don't want mom in the room when we have this conversation." They have a voice. They have to be able to say what they see from their own aging. Sometimes it's hard to have that conversation, and having somebody like me come in to facilitate the conversation makes all the difference in the world, because they're not going to tell me to, go jump in a lake, but, they will to their kid.